For someone who has a very high tendency to rate books very highly, it's really hard to narrow it down and figure out exactly which books are going to be 5 stars. But today I am going to make an attempt at making some 5-star predictions, and then over the course of the next couple of months, I guess I'll be finding out if my predictions are going to hold true. If you don't already know, the month of August is going to be Battleathon. This is a month-long readathon hosted by Mel from Melanor Reads, and I am so excited to be a co-host this year. So I will be co-hosting the House of Stars, and essentially what this readathon is, the goal is to read as many books as you can and to find the books that you really, really love, because you get points based on your star rating. So you want to be reading books that you think you're going to love because it's going to get more points for your team. And this is a bracket style competition, so you really want to be bringing in as many points as you can. So I am hopefully going to be finding some 5 stars here, although I won't know until I read them. But I have a couple of reasons why I've selected the books that I'm going to talk about, and I feel very strongly that most of these are going to be successful. That means I'm going to be even more disappointed if they don't turn out. But first I'm going to go over some series, because it is easiest to predict series that are going to be 5 stars. If you liked book 1 a lot, you probably will like some of the other ones in the series. So I'm going to start off with those, and then I'm going to go into like standalones or just new series that I haven't read yet. I am also going to be covering both romance and fantasy romance. So those are going to be kind of the 2 main genres that I'm focusing on here. But let's get started with those series. So the first series I want to talk about is the Well Met series by Jen DeLuca. I read this first one, I think maybe 2 years ago, and there are 4 books in this series and I haven't gotten to them yet. This is the special Afterlight exclusive edition that I could not pass up the opportunity to get. So of course I got all 4 of them. And so this is the first one, and it's a rom-com that takes place at the Renaissance Fair. I am a huge fan of the Renaissance Fair. I love it. I've worked at the Renaissance Fair. It's just like one of my favorite places. And so when I found out this was a rom-com that is set at like a small Ren Fair, I knew I had to read it, okay? I just had to. And I ended up loving this. This is kind of, I don't want to say like enemies to lovers, but they definitely don't get along at first, but over time they warm to each other and they have some delicious banter. I just absolutely loved this, but it's also a pretty innocent story. There's really no spice at all, if I remember correctly. And it's just like such a fun, innocent time, but also the Renaissance Fair is not an innocent place. So like, there's also that to consider. But this book is so much fun, and it's the only one I've read so far. But I have the sequels. So book 2 is Well Played, and each book is just going to follow a different couple of like people that are introduced throughout the story. I don't even remember who's in each one, but Well Played is book 2. And then Well Matched is book 3. This one is such a pretty blue. Oh, I just love these special editions. Book 4 is Well Traveled. And I don't know why I've been putting these off, but I have. And the time is probably coming that I'm going to need to just buckle down and read them, because I feel confidently that these are going to be, if not 5 stars, very highly rated because of how much I love the first one. I know I've heard that the other ones aren't quite as addictive, but it's the Renaissance Fair and you can't go wrong, right? You just can't go wrong. The next sequel that I want to talk about is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night last fall, absolutely loved it, and had every intention of reading the sequel since then, and I obviously haven't, but now there is also a novella that goes in between, so I have the opportunity to read both of these, and honestly, this series is just so much fun. It is humans and vampires and competition and betrayal, and I just really, really loved the story and the setting of the first book, and I just feel very confident that I'm going to end up loving these ones as much, or maybe even more. So I know this one follows a couple of different characters that you are introduced to in book 1, so I don't really know what to expect about this one, but it is nice and short, and that's always nice. And then this one is going to go back to our main characters that we know and love, and, you know, follow their trajectory from book 1, and we're going to pick up where we left off for book 2. Very excited to be getting into these. I've been putting it off for so long, but at this point, like, I really just gotta buckle down because book 3 is coming out in November, I believe. So I gotta get these in so that I can be even more excited for when that new one is gonna come out. And the final sequel that I want to talk about is one that's not quite out yet, but it is the sequel to Assistant to the Villain. So Apprentice to the Villain will be coming out on August 6th. And I am very excited for this book. This is more of like a cozy fantasy vibe, but we're following the assistant to the villain, and they're going to kind of have feelings for each other, but it's just a whole twisty mess because of more like the political vibe that's going on in the place that they live. And so the sequel to this one, Apprentice to the Villain, comes out very soon, and I cannot wait. I already have it pre-ordered, so I'm just waiting for it to arrive, and I really feel confident that I'm gonna end up loving it because this book was an immediate 5 stars, and I just like ate it up. Like I almost didn't want to put it down. It was so good, and I just am very excited for the next one. Now that I've gotten through these sequels that I am excited for, we are going to jump into standalones or first books in series that just haven't developed any more past that I am very excited for. We are going to jump back, and I will do the romance ones first, and then I will jump into the fantasy / romantasy ones. So this first book is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. I absolutely loved Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, and I gave it 5 stars, and it just makes me excited to read this one because I believe I could give this one 5 stars too. I don't know a whole lot about it other than a romance about a cello player, and hello, I love music. I've always been involved in playing music since I was young, and this just makes me really excited. Anything that has to do with musicians, I just like eat it up. So I am fully confident that I'm going to end up loving this book. If it's not 5 stars, it'll be darn near close, I feel. So I am very excited to add this one in. It also just came out in July, so it's a brand new release, and it's just one to be very excited for. And another book that is by an author that I have read from and thoroughly enjoyed, The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. I read The Fake Mate back in like January, and again, absolutely freaking loved it. So when I found out that she had this new one coming out about a hockey player, I knew I was gonna read it. I just knew it. So I had this one pre-ordered. It just came out recently as well. I want to say also July release, I think. And anyway, I am excited to read this, even though I don't really know a whole lot about the plot. But I feel confidently when I like an author's writing that I'm gonna like the next thing that they have. Based on the writing in The Fake Mate, I really liked it, and I am excited to be able to get some more from her. Hopeful that this one is gonna be 5 stars. And now the final romance that I have is actually an author I have not read from before. So this one's gonna be a new adventure. However, when I say I have never heard a bad thing about this book, I'm not exaggerating. I have literally never heard a bad word spoken about The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This book I have heard is like the sweetest, most gut-wrenching and emotional time. Like, I'm not sure I've ever heard of anyone who read this and didn't cry, which I'm not like a huge crier when I read, but also it does happen. And if it happens, it's gonna happen in this book. I just feel very confidently about that. But that's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm reading. I'm looking to have an emotional experience. I want to feel attached. I want to feel invested. And I think I'm gonna get this from this one. So I'm really excited to be kind of considering this for a 5-star prediction to get me those points for Battleathon, knowing that so many people have loved this book. Like truly, I don't think I've ever heard anyone who said that they read this and didn't like it. That has my hopes very, very high. And again, I will probably be very disappointed if I don't like this one just because of all the hype that I've heard and how much people have really loved it. But I'm gonna find out for myself very soon, hopefully. And now finally, we jump into the final couple of books, and I've really just been going through my shelves and pulling books off, so there's plenty of other books that I probably have, NetGalley arcs, things that I haven't really considered here, but I wanted to go through my physical shelf and see what kind of books I have lined up that could be 5 stars. So I have 3 more books that are all like fantasy romantasy, and I'm very excited for some of these. One, because I pre-ordered them, which tells you I'm excited for them because I was thinking about them before they even came out. The first one is Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. I love Leigh Bardugo's writing. I obviously have read all of the Shadow and Bone series, that whole world, and truly loved like literally all of them. And I'm just really excited to get to try this one. I've heard good things about it. It's been out for a while and I just haven't gotten around to reading it. I do have 2 copies of this because I have this one, which was the standard like first edition. And then I did get a special edition from Illumicrate, which is out on display in my living room because it's really, really pretty. I know this one has more of like a darker gothic tone. And honestly, without knowing a whole lot about the story, I'm putting a lot of faith in the reviews that I've read and in the fact that I have a very positive experience with Leigh Bardugo up until now. And so I'm just really excited to read this one. And so I am hopeful, I am confident that this one is going to be a success story. And the final 2 books that I have are both dragon themed. So I'm really hoping that I love dragon books. The first one just came out very recently. It is Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. And this one, first of all, I love the cover. Like I truly love this cover. I think it is so pretty, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive. Do I know what is exclusive about it? No, I do not, but I guess I'll find out when I get to reading it. I love the sprayed edges on this one. It adds such a nice like contrast to the black, and it honestly just looks so good. And as far as the dragons in here, long ago humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember and they do not forgive. I'm really, really hopeful for this one. I don't know a whole lot about it, and like I haven't heard a lot of reviews from it just because it is a very recent release, but I'm hopeful. I feel confident again in myself because I love books a lot. Like I just finish books and really like them. It's fine. I'm just very generous with my ratings, I guess. And so I do feel very confident that this one is going to work out for me. It's dragons. It's hard to go wrong with dragons. No, it's not. It's actually kind of easy to go wrong with dragons, but I'm hopeful that this one is going to be great. And in the same respect, this next one is one that I have been anticipating for a very long time because I originally saw the cover and I tried to request it on NetGalley. I was denied, but I said I'm pre-ordering this anyway because the special first edition print was absolutely stunning. The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song has sprayed edges, and it just like is absolutely a stunning copy of a book. Now, do I know a whole lot about this? No, but from what I understand, I believe it is supposed to be kind of inspired by The Legend of Mulan, which like I am a huge fan of The Legend of Mulan. And so that in itself, like as soon as I saw that, it was like an immediate buy for me. But knowing that this is also going to be like a romantasy, I just feel very confident that this one's gonna work. Plus, let's just appreciate the cover. Like how pretty is this? The way that the colors work together on this, I'm in awe. I am in awe. So yes, I am excited. Am I excited for some of these just because of the cover? Maybe. But also, I feel confident in what I know about the books, which sometimes it's limited, but other times I will just look at very brief reviews to see what the overall kind of judgment on the books are. And I feel like a lot of these have things that I like about them. They have elements that I have liked previously. Now, I didn't dissect these in any great detail. It's mostly, you know, recommendations, authors that I already like, or books that I have been seeing around, and every time I think about them I get excited, and that's enough to help set me up for success when I'm reading a book. If I am super excited, like something has to go terribly wrong for me to be actually like disappointed in a book that I'm highly anticipating. So like a lot of these books are just ones I'm so excited to get to, and I'm hopeful that they're going to be 5-star reads. That is all the books that I am predicting at this point. However, when I go to build my actual August TBR, we're going to be really dissecting some things a little bit more to figure out what exactly I should be reading for August, because my House of Stars team, we are going to kick butt, okay? We need to get all of the 5-star reads, the 4 stars, the 5 stars, everything that is amazing, because we're going to get those points and we are going to win Battleathon. I feel so good about this year's Battleathon. Now, if you have not signed up yet, you need to do that, but you also need to make sure that you're signing up for the House of Stars so you can join the winning team, because we are amazing, and you get bonus points if you read books that have things about like the stars or the moon and things like that in the title. And so I will be also kind of looking over my shelves in the next week or so to find the books that fit that as well, because you get bonus points for it. So if you have a lot of books that have skies and stars and moon and the sun and things like that in the title, then you want to join the House of Stars, because you'll get bonus points for reading them during the month of August and help our team rise to victory. So consider this your formal request to join the House of Stars. But even if you decide to join another team, make sure that you are signing up for Battleathon. It's going to be so much fun, and Mel has put so much work into this event. It's going to be an incredible month that I cannot wait for. I want to hear your excitement if you're joining the House of Stars. Let me know in the comments, because I'm excited and I hope you're excited too. I will leave Mel's information in the description so you can get the information for the Battleathon and everything that's coming up. It's going to be a great month, but I hope that you are already looking out for some of your 5-star predictions. We got to get those 5 stars racked up here. With that said, that's everything I've got here. If you like this video and you want to see more from me, if you want to see more from me during a Battleathon and the books that I plan to read, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything that I have coming up. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!